preschool, it's Miss Alyssa here in Occupational Therapy. I am here to show you what we are going to be doing in OT for the week of May 24th. We are going to get started. I have a hand warm-up, a craft, and self-help skills. So for our warm-up this week, we are going to string beads. So if you do not have beads at home, you can use small noodles and a shoelace. I happen to have a little container filled with different kinds of beads and laces. So we are going to take those out. Now, I have plastic string. This is easier to string than a fabric string, so you can try that as well. If you go to a craft store, you can find some of this plastic string. If your child is just learning to string beads, it's just a little more firm and easier to lace. So I have my small beads, and I'm going to get 10 beads, or you can get 10 noodles at home. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is an important visual motor skill for kids to have in development and fine motor development. So we are going to pick up the bead and look for the hole, and then take the end of our shoelace or string, and we're going to make sure that we're holding the string far back enough so that when we push through the hole in the bead, it comes out the other side so we can see it. Some kids have trouble because they're holding the very tip of the string and pushing it in, and then they can't see the string come out on the other side. So if you want to take a marker and put a little dot about 1 inch back from the tip of the string, that is helpful. So we're going to push it through. So we always say peekaboo, and then we pull it through. So you want to pull all the way up to the ceiling and make sure you emphasize that pull it through. So we're going to try that again. Find the little black dot that you might put on your lace. Hold the bead with the other hand, and you might have to do this hand over hand at first. We're going to look for that hole and push it in. Look on the other side. Peekaboo. Pull it through. And we're going to keep going. So if this is too hard, this little hole, you can always find a noodle with a bigger hole. And peekaboo. Pull it through. We can work on our counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Peekaboo. Pull it through. That's number 5. 6, if you're doing this with me. 7. 8. 9, and I think I have an extra bead. And 10. Peekaboo. Pull it through. And we'll just do this last one for good luck. Look for that little hole. Hold that black dot on your shoelace and push in. You might need hand over hand help from a grown-up, and pull it through. And this can be graded with larger beads and bigger holes in the beads, and also a firmer string. So that's our warm-up for this week. So we're going to move on to bin number 2. And this week we're going to make a decoration for Memorial Day. We're going to make a red, white, and blue wreath. So you will need a paper plate, a half a sheet of blue paper, a half a sheet of white paper, and a half a sheet of red paper, a black marker, scissors, glue, and if you have it, a straight edge. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our paper plate, and we're going to find this circle in the middle of our paper plate, and we're going to trace that with our finger and say around and stop. Around and stop, creating that definite endpoint to the circle that so many of you are working on. So now grab your marker. Make sure you're holding it the right way. You want to pinch it. You might need a little cotton ball under these 2 fingers to keep these fingers down. And we're going to trace around and stop to make the best circle we can make in the middle of our plate. So it's nice if you have these cheaper paper plates because they're easier to cut instead of styrofoam or a harder plate, or you can just cut a circle out of a white piece of paper. So this part is going to be tricky. This a grown-up might have to do. We're going to cut out the center of our paper plate. So if you guys are working with me at home, go ahead and fold your plate in half like a taco. And we're gonna look for that line. We actually can, yeah, we can do it that way. We can still see it. We're gonna cut on this line right here. So pick your scissors up the right way, thumbs in the little holes. Some of you like to leave your pointer out, that's okay. And we're gonna cut on that line. And again, this will be hard for some preschoolers, so a grown-up might have to do this. And we cut out the circle. So you can see the other side of the plate. We have a hole in the middle for our wreath. The next step is to take your red paper on your straight edge if you have it. If you don't, we're just gonna draw 3 lines down. So grab your marker again, and we're gonna draw a line down, line down, line down. And if you guys need dots to connect, to practice your lines down, you can get or have a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom to connect. Practice those lines down. All right, now we're gonna take our white paper and we're gonna do the same thing. This time we're gonna, actually we can practice lines across, so we're gonna change it up a little bit and practice lines across this time. So hold your paper horizontally and practice line across, line across, and line across. And you do want to do it left to right. That's an important pre-reading skill, tracking left to right. When you're done, you'll have 2 pieces of paper that look like this. Now we're going to practice cutting on the line. So make sure you're holding your scissors the right way. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little snip. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little snip, snip, snip. So some kids do not coordinate shoulder elevation with the open and closed pattern of the hand, and singing actually slows them down so that they can cut the paper without pushing and ripping the paper. So we're going to cut the white. You can sing open, shut them again if you need to. Or you can just say open, shut, open, shut, open, shut, and open, shut. Last one. And if you are not cutting on a line yet, if your child is not cutting on a line yet, you can pre-cut these strips of paper and just have them practice snipping. So the next step would be to snip little squares of red and white. And we're just going to snip as many as we can. And if you're not ready for snipping, you could rip and rip and rip. So you guys pick. Ripping is a pre-scissor skill. And we have a lot of paper to cut, so I don't think we need all 3 stripes. I think 2 will be enough. But I like you guys to get extra practice. And snip, and snip. All right, so when you're done, you'll have a pile of red and white squares. And then we're going to take our paper plate and we're going to practice making a circle with our glue stick. And if you have Elmer's glue or white glue, that's fine too. So take your glue stick and go around and stop, and do it a couple times because you'll need a lot of glue. Around and stop, around and stop. So when you're done, your plate will look like this. Now we're going to make a pattern with our red and white squares. So we're going to put red square, white square, red square, white square, a red square, a white square, and just keep going all the way around to make a pattern. And this is good for color identification too, and just making a pattern. I know you guys work on that a lot in preschool. And it's okay if your squares overlap a little bit. So when you're done making your pattern, your wreath will look like this. So we're going to push all this aside. Now we're going to make a bow for our wreath. So you'll need a half a sheet of blue paper. The first thing we're going to do is take our marker and we're going to draw a line down like that, and practice cutting on one more line. And if this needs to be pre-cut, that's okay too. And then you're going to take the bigger piece of the half of paper that you have left, and we're going to practice that folding skill. So fold your paper, make sure you line up the corners. Now we're going to practice a pre-writing shape, a triangle. So you might need dots to connect to make your triangle, which is good because a lot of you are working on tracing like that, so we can connect the dots to make a triangle. I didn't do a very good job staying on the dots here, but I am making a triangle, and it's okay if you make a mistake. We just try again. So when you're done, you have a triangle. And now we're going to practice cutting out that triangle, but keep your paper folded because we need 2 triangles when we're done. And when you get to the corner, stop and turn your paper. Stop and turn your paper. 2 triangles. So we're going to put those 2 triangles together like this, like 2 fish swimming towards each other, and we're going to glue them together. So you might need a dot for glue. And that's going to be our bow. So we made a nice big blue bow to put on our wreath. And we're going to put it on top. So you'll need more glue for that. The glue is on top. And stick your bow on top. And then we have this piece left. So we're going to cut that piece in 2. And these are going to be the strings hanging down from our ribbon. So we're going to glue them on like this and like this. So put glue in the middle of your bow. And just take these lines and put them diagonally. So we're working on those diagonal lines. And when you're done, you have a beautiful decoration for your front door for Memorial Day. We're going to clean up our mess and move on to bin number 3. And this week we're going to practice buttoning small buttons. So some of you are still working on big buttons, but that's okay. But a lot of you are working on small buttons because you already know how to do big buttons. So you can get a dress shirt. I think one of my students used a jean jacket last week, and that was helpful. Put it down in front of you on the table. Line up the buttons. Make sure you line them up. So start at the top and make sure the top button matches up with the top hole. And then you can do that button first. So just like we do with our big buttons, we find the button and pick it up, almost like a coin, and we find the hole and push. We push it through. So this one's hard because it's on a collar. So you might want to start one down. We peekaboo, pull it through, We're gonna do 3 more. Peekaboo. Pull it through. Peekaboo. Pull it through just like we did with our lacing beads. And I think I have one more here. I'll hold it close. Peekaboo. Look on the other side. You gotta push and pull. And you buttoned your shirt. You guys did a great job today. Thank you so much for joining me in OT, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.